Padre Pio of Pietrelcina was born on May 25, 1887, in the small town of Pietrelcina, Italy. His birth name was Francesco Fergioni, and from an early age, he showed a strong inclination toward religious life. Raised in a humble and deeply Catholic family, he exhibited signs of an unusual spirituality from childhood. As a child, he had mystical visions and dialogues with Jesus and Mary, experiences he kept secret for fear of being misunderstood. At just 15 years old, he joined the Order of Capuchin Friars Minor, adopting the name Friar Pio in honor of Saint Pius V. However, his health was fragile, and throughout his life, he suffered from various illnesses. Ordained a priest in 1910, Padre Pio began to live his spiritual mission intensely. During the early years of his priesthood, his frail health forced him to spend periods at his family's home. It was only in 1916 that he was sent to the convent of San Giovanni Rotondo, a small village in southern Italy, where he would remain for the rest of his life. It was in this place that his fame spread, and the supernatural phenomena surrounding him became known worldwide. One of the most remarkable events of his life occurred on September 20, 1918, when he received the stigmata of Christ. He was in prayer when he felt intense pain and realized that his hands, feet, and sides of his body were bleeding, reproducing the wounds of the crucified Jesus. The phenomenon caused astonishment, admiration, and also skepticism, leading the church to investigate it thoroughly. Doctors and specialists examined his wounds, but were never able to find a scientific explanation. Padre Pio himself felt immense pain and discomfort from the stigmata and prayed to God, asking to suffer without displaying them. However, the wounds remained visible for 50 years, mysteriously disappearing just before his death. From the manifestation of the stigmata, Padre Pio's popularity grew exponentially. Faithful from various parts of the world traveled to San Giovanni Rotondo to meet him, hear his words, and confess to him. The priest had the gift of reading souls, meaning he knew details about people's lives without them revealing anything. Many devotees reported that when confessing to him, Padre Pio would mention sins they had forgotten or omitted. His severity in the confessional was well known, as he did not tolerate superficial confessions or a lack of genuine repentance. There are accounts of people who, upon trying to deceive the priest or conceal their sins, were harshly reprimanded and even expelled from the confessional. Another phenomenon attributed to him was bilocation, the ability to be in two places at the same time. Several testimonies claim that Padre Pio was seen in distant locations while physically remaining at the convent. Soldiers from World War I and World War II reported seeing the priest in the midst of battles, praying and protecting the combatants. An American pilot during a bombing raid claimed to have seen a friar flying over the monastery of San Giovanni Rotondo, preventing the bombs from hitting the site. Shocked by what had happened, the pilot went to the convent and recognized Padre Pio as the friar he had seen in the air. Another curious case involves a young Italian who traveled to San Giovanni Rotondo to meet Padre Pio. As he approached, before saying anything, the priest looked at him intently and said, "So, how is your mother?" The young man was surprised, as his mother was ill, and he had told no one. He understood that the priest knew his pain without him having to say a word. Padre Pio was also known for his intense spiritual battles. He said he faced attacks from the devil, who tormented him in various ways. He reported hearing screams at night and feeling invisible blows. The friars at the convent confirmed that they often heard strange noises coming from the priest's room. On some occasions, he appeared with bruises and scratches, attributing these wounds to attacks from the evil one. Despite these trials, he never faltered and always maintained his unwavering faith. In addition to his spiritual gifts, Padre Pio dedicated himself to charity. He founded the Casa Sollievo della Sofferenza House for the relief of suffering, a hospital that continues to serve thousands of people in need. He believed that medicine should not only be a means of treating physical illnesses, but also of bringing spiritual comfort to the sick. His dedication to the poor and suffering was well known, and many testified to his compassion and love for others. Padre Pio passed away on September 23, 1968, at the age of 81. Shortly before his death, his wounds disappeared completely, leaving no scars. His funeral was attended by thousands of faithful who wished to pay their last respects to the saint of San Giovanni Rotondo. In 2002, he was canonized by Pope John Paul II, who deeply admired him and had even visited him during his youth. Devotion to Padre Pio remains strong to this day. Thousands of pilgrims visit his shrine seeking blessings and inspiration. His life was marked by miracles, suffering, and an unconditional love for God and others. To many, he was an example of holiness and a living testimony of the divine presence on earth. His words and teachings continue to resonate in the hearts of the faithful, who consider him a powerful intercessor with God. Padre Pio remains a symbol of faith and hope, inspiring people worldwide to seek a life closer to God.